The most important time to practice these suggestions I'm going to make is when you are not triggered, when you're not feeling bad. Hi, and welcome everyone. Welcome to Life Support with Odille for changing negative implicit childhood memories using the Remmert Method. So we've created this forum for those who've watched our YouTube videos or read our book and need personal help with using the techniques to get changes, but aren't in a position to do one-to-one sessions at the moment. So if you're new to the Remmert Method, please check the description of this post. And of course, if you'd like to submit a question or you'd like me to take you through the process of changing memories in this forum, check the link in the description of this video for details on that as well. So we have two people on the list for today. The first one is a question that was sent in by Spasihle. Spasihle says, I started an internship as a legal advisor for an insurance company, and I'm thinking of resigning. I have been doing it for 6 months. The workload is overwhelming. And since it's an internship, I'm not getting a salary, but only a stipend, which is not sustainable. Also, there's no confirmation that once the internship is over, I will be absorbed permanently. Therefore, all my hard work might not get rewarded. I work in the liabilities department, and basically we have to decide whether to settle or decline a claim from a third party who is trying to claim from a client's policy following a car accident. I get really rude third parties who do not understand that this is a process, and they get really impatient or really nasty if we decline or apportion the amount they are claiming for. The worst thing about this job is that I feel I cannot give third parties what they want, which is to settle their claim quickly. The workload and compensation also do not motivate me to enjoy work. I really want to resign. However, I live in a country with the highest unemployment, and I feel like my mom and sister will judge me and be disappointed since they know how bad the economy is and how hard it is to find a job in South Africa. However, I am miserable and I feel stuck. Please help. I forgot to include that my ideal job right now would be to work at a cruise ship. However, I am not getting responses from the applications I send. So first of all, well done, Spasihle, for reaching out for help with this. And you've done a great job so far of identifying some of the issues that are keeping you stuck in this kind of experience. So what we're aiming for, and I'll take you through step by step what to do and how to get there. But what we're aiming for is that you feel confident to move forward with changing your circumstances without fear of what others will think and without the fear of not getting another job. So to get to that end result, I always like to start by answering the conscious mind with logic, because we need to get the conscious mind on board before the rest can follow. So, and then we'll move on to addressing the unconscious references. Answering the logic first. We know that every decision we make and how we communicate and what opportunities we happen to notice and what opportunities we miss, and therefore our results, of course, are all determined by how we're feeling, meaning having the prefrontal cortex of the brain where we do our cognitive thinking online, and having the unconscious part of the brain keeping us in alignment with those new unconscious references. So this means that there are 2 steps to getting the end result you want, of getting a job you enjoy and that you are well compensated for. So the first step is doing whatever it takes to get into a feel-good state so that you have the cognitive thinking part of your brain online, so that you're able to notice opportunities you hadn't thought of before, and you're able to come up with solutions you hadn't thought of before, and be able to communicate effectively in ways you hadn't before, which of course, all of that will affect your applications and your interviews and so on. And the second step is finding and changing the negative childhood memories that are keeping you stuck in fear and repeating the same patterns. So the second piece, that's the first piece of logic, right? The second piece of answering the logic is, yes, absolutely. the unemployment situation to consider. However, there are people working. There are people who have well-paid jobs that they enjoy. So it must be possible. So there are some jobs, right? And whether you get another job or not will depend on your ability to think of or find the opportunities that are available and come up with solutions and ideas and connect with the right people, along with the ability to communicate effectively in applications and in interviews. So although the unemployment rate is beyond your control, you do still have the power to change your experience of it. And then finally, for answering the logic, for the sake of the conscious mind, of course, how your mum and your sister feel about your decisions are based on their own fears and perspectives, not based on objective reality. Just like all of us, each of them is also looking at the world through the filters of their own childhood references. So we want to change the childhood references that the unconscious part of your brain is referring to that are causing those feelings in you of being judged by them and the fear of disappointing them and so on, so that you can feel confident in your decisions and be respectful of their fears without feeling the need to give in to them. So let's get to the steps to take. So step one, make feeling good your priority. So knowing that that is actually what will get your brain fully online to allow you to make the best decisions, come up with the best solutions, notice opportunities, and know that you'll know what to say to others. So I'm going to give you suggestions of ways to achieve this, but I want to start with explaining that the most important time to practice these suggestions I'm going to make is when you are not triggered, when you're not feeling bad. Now, just like you wouldn't wait until the day of a marathon to start running, because of course your body wouldn't have built up the stamina and the muscles you'd need to be able to run a marathon without consistent running training over a period of months. In the same way, trying to feel good when you're already feeling bad is like turning up on the day to run a marathon without training for it. So here's the schedule, the training schedule. Before you go to bed tonight, do these three things. Number one, set the intention that as soon as you're aware you're awake in the morning, and before you think of anything else, you'll practice the little brain chemistry exercise. And I'll put a link to that in the description of this video for those who need it. Number two, put something by your bed that you'll see as soon as you wake up that makes you feel good. It can be a photo of something or someone you love, or something that's a particular color that you love, or it can be a note with some words that remind you of something or someone you love or are grateful for, something that you're looking forward to, something that will make you smile and give you a warm feeling. And then number three, finally, before you go to bed tonight, cue up a favorite song or piece of music to listen to first thing in the morning. Now, all of this is not just to feel good when you wake up. Of course, you will feel good doing it, but that's not the reason. The reason for it is to physically change your neurochemical state so that you bring blood to the prefrontal cortex of your brain, the cognitive thinking part of your brain. So you're going to do that tonight before you go to bed. Then tomorrow morning and every morning following, as soon as you're aware you're awake, immediately do the little brain chemistry exercise. That little brain chemistry exercise takes 1.5 minutes at the most. So it doesn't need to take long. You can take that minute or 1.5 minutes when you wake up to do that. Then look at the item or the note or the photo that you put next to your bed that makes you feel good. And here's the key: allow yourself to feel good as you look at it. So make that intention, consciously and intentionally allow yourself to take that moment to really feel the feelings that you get when you look at that thing. Because we tend to block off the good feelings because we're so focused on the danger. It sometimes takes active allowing. And then number three, listen to the music that you queued up from the night before. You can listen to it while you're brushing your teeth or waiting for the kettle to boil or any of the other activities you do first thing in the morning. And again, allow yourself to enjoy that music. And as your mind wanders, so for example, to what you don't like about work or what you're worried about, answer that. That's very important. Answer it. Answer it with, yes, that's true, but I can't do anything about that right now in this minute. So right now, what I can do is make sure that I have the cognitive thinking part of my brain online so that I can make the best of the day and notice opportunities I may not have seen otherwise. And then finally, think of at least one thing that you're looking forward to, even if it's just your lunch break or a cup of coffee or watching a favorite show when you get home, or whatever it is. Find at least one thing, no matter how small it is, to look forward to. And again, this is not about the thing itself, and it's not about distracting yourself from the things you're worried about. This is all about brain chemistry, and your brain chemistry affects absolutely everything else. So that's step one. Step two, now we move on to finding and changing the negative implicit childhood memories that are creating this pattern for you. So start by asking yourself, what's the worst case scenario? If you stay where you are in this particular job, what's the worst case scenario about that? And then how does that feel? For example, that feeling of being miserable and stuck, and anything else about this job. And then where in your childhood did you feel that same feeling? And remember, it may be a different topic, but it'll be the same feeling. Okay. So make a note of those memories. For people who are new to this, you don't need to go into any details of the memories. You don't have to remember any details. You don't have to write a description. No one else is going to see this. All you need to write is a few words that identify the memory for you so that you know what you're talking about and an approximate age. So for example, granny kitchen, 8 years old, so that you know, oh, that it's that memory. There's never any need to open that door and go into the memory. As you think about resigning, so now let's say you've made the decision to resign and you think about your mum's and your sister's reactions, how does that feel? And then again, where in your childhood did you feel that same feeling? Again, remember, it may be a different topic. It may not involve your mum or your sister. It may not. So just notice where your mind goes in your childhood with that feeling and make a note of those memories. And finally, for this detective work part, something you said about your experience at work really stood out to me. And it was this: the worst thing about this job is that I feel I cannot give third parties what they want, which is to settle their claim quickly. That's definitely an unconscious program from childhood. As long as that's running in your brain, it's going to be keeping you in alignment with that feeling, whether it's keeping you stuck in this particular job so that you can continue to experience that feeling, or you get another job that ends up creating that same feeling, or you end up in a relationship that feels like that. Your brain is going to constantly be affecting your decisions and what opportunities and solutions you come up with to make sure to keep you in alignment so that you keep feeling that feeling of, I can't give these people what they want. So ask yourself, that feeling you get where about not being able to give someone what they want, where in your childhood did you feel that same feeling? And again, make a note of those memories. Then change all of the memories you've written down to the opposite, positive and empowering, starting with the earliest memories first and moving forward in order of approximate age. And use stepping stones as well. So I'll put a link in the description of this video to the information on stepping stones for those who need it. And of course, practice those new memories with strong, good feelings until they're established. And finally, moving forward, whenever you think of your job, the challenges in your job and the uncertainty of whether to resign or not, whenever you think of your mother and your sister and the possibility of them judging you and so on, whenever you think of the unemployment rates and anything else you're worried about, immediately play one of those new memories, one of those new childhood memories with all the good feelings. Again, this is not just about feeling better. This is redirecting the unconscious part of your brain to the new references that prove the results you want to experience in your life, so that it starts to change course and starts to keep you in alignment with those new references as well, instead of the old references, in addition to keeping the cognitive thinking part of your brain online. Now, regarding the cruise ship opportunities, the cruise ship jobs that you would like, there are bound to be some opportunities, connections, ideas, and options that you haven't thought of or that you haven't noticed or seen, because the unconscious part of your brain will be filtering out anything that doesn't fit in with your current implicit childhood memories and programming. So having the job that you would love, let's say working on a cruise ship, if you were to get that now, that wouldn't be in alignment with the childhood memories of, I need to be fearful, I need to be stuck, I need this feeling of being stuck, I need to feel that people want something and I can't give it to them. All of that is the GPS coordinates in your childhood keeping you there. So getting a job you love and are well compensated for doesn't fit with that. So your brain is going to deliberately ignore and filter out and affect your decisions and what you're able to even notice or be prepared to do and so on. That's why it's so important to change those memories, because then finding that job, getting that job that you love and are well compensated for, whether it is a cruise ship or something else, is going to be automatic as long as you are making sure that those references are there and then you're redirecting your brain to the new references. All right, so I hope that helps, but let me know if you need any more suggestions or you need clarification on anything, of course.